Hey everyone, welcome to lesson 7 of theme 2 GCSE Geography. So last lesson we looked at brownfield site redevelopment with using BedZ as an example. This lesson we're going to look at Greenfield redevelopment and we're going to use Clyne Common as an example. This is a real proposal that has been put to the council in the area as to how Clyne Common should be developed and built on. So what we're going to do is identify the main features of the Clyne Common development and we're going to evaluate. That means pick out the good and bad impacts on people, the economy and jobs, and the environment if this development were to go ahead. So pause the video here a minute and go ahead and write down the title, please, and we'll get cracking. Okay, so first off, where on earth are we talking about? So if you can sort of visualize in your head, imagine you are down by the LC2 in Swansea. Okay, imagine you're down by the leisure centre. If you kept driving along that main road all the way around Swansea Bay as if you were going towards Mumbles, along this road, after quite a while, you get to an area called Blackpill. And on the left, there's the Lido with like the splash pads. On the right, there's a pub called the Woodman. And there's Clyne Gardens here. Around about this area, if you turned right off the Mumbles Road and headed up through an area called the Males and up over the hill, as if you were heading towards an area called Bishopston, you'd go through a section called Clyne Common, okay? So this is what I was talking about. Here's the road coming along here. If you turned off this road and came up through the Males, this road continues all the way through to Bishopston, but as you drive along that road there's Clyne Common here, okay? This is what Clyne Common looks like. It is common land. Now what that means is it's not protected as such, it's not green belt or green wedge, but it doesn't belong to anyone, although there's an agreement amongst the farmers in the area that everyone can sort of use it to graze their animals, but no one's allowed to use it to build on or to develop. So it's sort of shared between everyone in the area really, and has been for a very, very long time. There's footpaths that cross over it, so it's good for walkers and leisure activities, and you usually find either sheep or cows most commonly, sometimes ponies, grazing across land like this. Other examples of common land across the Gower that you might have seen is when you're driving up to Kevin Bryn, perhaps. That road that drives up to Kevin Bryn, that crosses through common land as well. So as you can see, it's a greenfield site. There's nothing developed on it, nothing built on it. It's 286 square hectares in area, and it's about just over 1 kilometre northeast of the village of Bishopston, about 8 kilometres southwest of the city of Swansea. It's a pretty big area. Now then, we're going to use some sources today, and there's going to be words on those sources that you might not know what they mean. Okay, so I've got down here again the definition of sustainable urban development. Development that meets the needs of its population now and in the future without causing any damage to people or the environment. This concept of sustainability is massive throughout geography. I know you've heard about it loads already. So when we're talking about developing an area, it's about why do we need to develop it? Do we need more houses? Are we running out of space? What is the need of the population now? Is it going to solve that problem now and permanently? Is it going to mean that it's not a problem in the future, housing shortage, but it needs to solve that problem in a way that doesn't cause damage? Okay, I've got the definition down there of a greenfield site and of greenbelt land. Now we've touched on these before, but if you're not sure, write them down again. These last two are probably new to you though. AONB stands for Area of Outstanding Natural Beauty, which the Gower Peninsula is classified as. And a blue flag beach, an award that is given to an exceptionally clean and beautiful beach. The Gower Peninsula has the highest concentration of blue flag beaches of anywhere in Europe. So they are our pride and joy. So any of those things that you don't know what they mean, pause the video here and write them down in your books quickly, please. Okay, so what you're going to do is, using this source, so you can either print this out because it's in a document accompanying this lesson, or worst case scenario, if you haven't got a printer, if you open up the PowerPoint that comes with this video, you can actually zoom in and still read all of this. This page summarises the proposed redevelopment of Clyne Common. Like I said, this is a real proposal that has been put on hold at the moment, but could well still be given the go-ahead. The Evening Post article over here it sort of outlines for you a little bit about what the development is and why it's needed. So the local development plan, the LDP, is going to pave the way for 332 new homes, a great big holiday park. So this is going to mean tourism and jobs, and they're going to be quite high-end homes as well, quite large, posh, detached family homes. So that's going to attract high-income families with lots of money to spend in the area as well. It says down here why it's needed. We're running out of land to build on, and we need 17,000 new homes over the next 20 years. So where are we going to put them? The number of people in Swansea is increasing, mostly due to immigration. So we're going to need more homes. Where are we going to build them? Up here, it tells you a little bit about the local schools. So the area that this would be built in Clyne Common, the nearest schools would be Bishopston Primary and Comprehensive. They are exceptionally good schools, but they're already quite oversubscribed. They're already pretty full. So if these houses were built and family moved in, more children going to these schools is going to mean bigger class sizes, and that's going to reduce the quality of teaching and maybe reduce the standard of the results. The LDP, the Local Development Plan proposal details. So this just outlines in a little bit more detail what was talked about in this first paragraph here. So how many homes, what kind of homes. There's going to be little to no affordable housing in the development, so it's not going to be very accessible for low-income families. So socially, it's not going to benefit everybody. It talks about the holiday park and tourism and local economy, creating jobs as well for local people, that they're going to widen the road, that the B road that runs across the common that I showed you on the satellite image earlier is going to be widened to cope with the extra traffic. What could extra traffic mean though? More air pollution. How's that going to impact people and the environment? And then there's going to be improvement to services. So more public transport, better internet connection and things like that. So on the surface it looks like it's going to bring a lot of positives. There's a couple of downsides here as well though. It talks here about the beaches in the surrounding area, about Caswell Bay, Brandy Cove, Pushley Bay, and how if this holiday park opens, obviously there's going to be a lot more visitors going to the beaches. That could mean more litter, it could mean more footpath erosion, so habitats get destroyed and we could lose our blue flag beach statuses on all of these beaches. And then down here there's the opinions of some local residents. So Mrs. Daniels is a conservationist. Her point of view is that she wants to protect the environment and protect habitats and wildlife populations. Mr. Hughes lives in the Gower already, he lives in the area already. He's not going to be very happy about the extra traffic, the extra people, the overcrowding, the litter on the beaches. Talks about landscape gardener here in Clyne Gardens, which is nearby. There's an opinion of a local farmer as well, because the farmers use the common land to graze their cattle. If you build on it, that's a lot of grazing land lost. And then you've got Miss Carter working for Dŵr Cymru for Welsh Water, and it gives their opinion there. So, what I'd like you to do, take a whole page turn sideways in your books. In fact, if you've got A3 plain paper at home, that would probably work even better. If you don't want to do it laid out like this, you can always just do subheadings and then bullet points of some format, okay? Why is the development needed? And facts and main details of the planned development will be from here and here. Advantages and disadvantages. So this is the evaluation element. Is it good or bad for people? Good or bad for the environment? Good or bad in terms of jobs and boosting the economy? You're going to want really these four boxes, You're going to need most of the sheet for the evaluation element. Once you've done this side of the sheet, I then would like you to, in your opinion, say whether you think the development is sustainable or not. Now, whenever you have a question about sustainability, it's always a good idea to talk about the three elements of sustainability: social, environmental, and economic. So an example of what to write in this box would be, I think it is socially sustainable because, however, it's not environmentally sustainable because, although it will bring a lot of benefits to the economy because. So overall, because of the benefits to people and the economy, I think it is sustainable in the long run from those points of view. However, something will need to be done to reduce the damage to the environment. So just talk about whether you think it's overall good for people, overall good for the environment, or overall good for the economy. And then a little concluding sentence about whether you think in total it's a good or bad thing. All right? So what I would suggest you do is step one, if you can print this out, take a highlighter, highlight the main facts and figures, maybe use two different colours to highlight positives and negatives, but basically identify the main points that you want to use. then summarise them into this side of the sheet, and then give this a try over here. Okay, if you run out of space with how you've divided it in your book, you could always just put this as a subheading and actually just write it normally. Okay, here's an example of a couple of points that you could make to get you started. So, either print out that sheet and get highlighting and summarising, or open up the PowerPoint that accompanies this video and zoom in on that sheet and start picking out information and summarising it into the boxes, and then give the last box a try. In your opinion, overall, is it going to be sustainable for the area? Okay, and that brings us to the end of lesson 8. Oh, I thought it was lesson 7. Never mind. It brings us to the end of this lesson. When you were writing your opinion in that last task, it doesn't matter whether you think it's sustainable or not. The key is in how you justify, how you explain and back up why you think it is sustainable or not. So always bear that in mind. In some instances, there's no right or wrong answer as such. The marks come from how well you explain why you think what you do. Okay, so well done today. Any questions or queries, as usual, drop me an email, gleasona@hopecymru.net. Otherwise, I'll see you soon for the next lesson.